Hi, it's Angela from Angela's Paper Arts, and today I want to show you how to make this card. It's a diagonal card, special fold card, and as you can see it's been cut on a diagonal on the front and it has a little flap at the front as well. I've actually added a little slot there to put a gift card or money. So I made these at Christmas time to give to nephews and sons and what have you. So lots of family members got this card this last year, I should say, because it's now the 2nd of January. And I thought I'd just show you quickly the mechanics of making the card. You can decorate them however you like. I actually made this card in floral papers for a girlfriend's birthday last year as well. So can be used for any occasion. First thing I do want to do though is give credit to the person whose card I saw, and I've used this style, and it is a French demonstrator. Her name is Ludivine Bertois, and apologies if I've said that mispronounced her name, but I saw her card and I thought, oh, I could do that. So I did like the idea of it being a money or gift card, and did change inside around so that the money wouldn't fall out when it was standing up. And it does stand up as well, as you can see. So I am, and you may be wondering, why am I using Christmas things in January? We've got Chinese New Year coming up, and I've got a few friends overseas who I'm sending Happy New Year cards to for their Chinese New Year celebrations. So I am using these two sets, which were in the Stampin' Up catalogue from July to the 4th of January 2023. So I'm using just a couple of sentiments out of these. And as you can see, if these are of interest to you, you've only got a day or two to get these papers, but really I just want to share how to make the card, and you can substitute with any papers and embellishments that you have. So it's really the mechanics of the card that's important today. So what you need first up, and I'll just take all these bits out so you can see. So first of all, you need your standard card base, which is 21 by 14.85 centimetres. You score it at the 10.5 centimetre mark, but this time you cut it on the diagonal. So you cut from the top corner here down to the very bottom corner. And if you're wondering how I did that, basically I just got my Stampin' Up trimmer, popped the card in on an angle in the trimmer, and while it was whole it looked like this, but then I just cut from corner to corner, and it's as simple as that to cut the diagonal using this type of trimmer. So you don't need this piece, that's redundant, so you can save that scrap for another time. So what I'll do, I'll just put the measurements here so you can grab them for yourself. So that's the first piece you need, and then what we'll do, you need a piece for inside the card. So that's this part here that I've adhered the little extra mini card onto. So that is 14.4 centimetres by 10 centimetres. So that will go inside the card as decoration. And then you want the actual mini card itself, which goes here. And that piece, the mini card itself, is 21 centimetres long by 7 centimetres wide, and scored at 10.5 centimetres. So that will go there. That goes inside like that. And then really the decoration is up to you. For me today, I'm just adding a layer, a mat for my embellishment to sit on, and that is 10 by 6.5 centimeters in size. And last but not least, you actually need the decoration for the front. And so what you do for that is you take a 10 centimeter by 14.4 centimeter piece of paper. It can be, you can emboss it if you just want to use cardstock. I'm using designer series paper today. In fact, I'm using this piece from the Christmas catalogue. But you cut it on a diagonal, and that goes on the outside of the card. So again, the same thing that we did for the card base, where you cut it from corner to corner. You do the same with this piece. You cut from corner top left to bottom right. Just a warning, if you have got directional paper, you just need to be careful how you cut this so that you get the paper going in the direction that you want. Personally, I think the easiest thing to do is just use a non-directional paper like this one, and then it's very forgiving. So that's what you're doing there. Again, you just need one of those because that will go on the outside of the card. So effectively, you can get 2 cards out of this one piece of paper, which is exactly what I have done. So let's assemble this card. So hopefully you've got all those measurements, got all your bits and pieces, and then we can put it together. So I'm just going to set those aside, and hopefully you can still see all that. If you haven't yet got all the measurements written down, you can pause and stop the video if you want as well. I'm also going to use some little festive pearls, red and green festive pearls, to finish off the card as well. So the first thing, I'm just going to get rid of this paper because I'm using this one for today's card. First thing I'm going to do is layer that onto that diagonal part of the card. Now, I just want to give you a tip, and let me see if I can find how to do this. Sometimes when you do diagonal cards, you don't get quite the right even matte layer, which you can sort of see there. I've got actually quite even. Sometimes that doesn't always work, and I might just see if this will work as an example. Yes, so what we've got here, if I pull that down, you might be able to see it's thick at one end and tapers out to virtually nothing at the other end. And so the trick to that is to grab a pencil. I'm just going to grab a pen and mark really where you want the end to go, and then use your little trimmer, whatever you've got. No, I'm not going to use that one. Just grabbing I like a guillotine trimmer for this. So I'm just going to put this in my trimmer and chop off where I've put the mark, and hopefully you can see that. And so make sure it's flush at the bottom, and then chop off where you don't want the excess. And so when you add that on, that will even up, which is what's happened here. So I've now got a nice even border because I was able to just trim that little bit off the edge, because it's always hard to get this perfect. But that's just a little tip to getting your layers nice and even when you're doing diagonals. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to adhere this onto the front, and I'm trying to get that layer even. Okay, and I'll just Remove this double-sided tape. I use Tombow just to help me guide things into place because it's forgiving, and then I tape it when I'm happy with where it's located, because this is going overseas, so I want to make sure it stays stuck for the trip over there. So the next thing I'll do is then add my inside layer into the card. So again, I'll just put some Tombow on there so I can line things up, and just pop that up. Just makes it easier for the first one. Let me just pull this over so I can see it. And that looks about right. And now I'll just rip off the tape. And it helps to have fingernails for this. If you don't, grab your picker tool. And there. So now we've got the card base all prepared. Now what we need to do is adhere the little mini card. And as you can see, I've already stamped in cherry cobbler ink the Happy New Year. Now this is going to go about here. Just a little tip. I had it very close with some of my cards, and I found it was scrunching this diagonal panel. So give yourself some room when you're adhering this. I'm just going to put some Tombow on and straighten myself up again. And we will then adhere this in place. So what I need to do is open that up so I can see roughly where it's going. Make sure you don't interfere with that line. Give yourself some space. And I'm just going to see how straight I've got it. That looks pretty straight. I'm just eyeballing this one, so that when you lift it up, they close down all nice. So there you go. I'll get rid of that tape and I'll show you how it all looks. There. Get that one off. Get that one off. We'll just pop that underneath. All right. Okay, so what happens is you've adhered this onto the inside of the card, you close the front diagonal flap, and then you close the mini card. And you can see I've left a little bit of space between the card front and the mini card on the inside so that I don't squish it, to say it easily. All right, so now I'm just going to add my little mat onto the front, and I'm going to put my decoration on there. There's one. Just get that all adhered down. There we go. So that's done, ready to be decorated. I'm using as I said, the Christmas 2022 stamp set. I'm just going to put some Seal on, Seal Plus, because it's super strong adhesive and I don't want this falling off. So let me just put this, a little bit of fairy bits around there. And then, last but not least, I'm just going to put the embellishment on the front. Again, I've used the Stampin' Up paper. Unfortunately, I don't have a Stampin' Up rabbit at the moment because for the Chinese New Year 2023, it is the year of the rabbit. So I borrowed a rabbit from a friend, cut it out in the gold, Stampin' Up gold paper, which has got a nice texture to it. And there we go. So from our house to yours, Happy New Year for the year of the rabbit. And just to finish it off, let's put a couple little of the gold pearls up in the top corner, just to balance out all the gold. And one more. Get that over, scooch it over. There we go. So there was the one I made earlier, in fact, and they both say the same thing, Happy New Year. So you can see this is where I've used the one piece of 10 by 14.4 centimetre designer series paper, cut it in half on the diagonal, used one on one card and the other piece on the other card. Of course, they are going in different directions as a consequence because you're having to flip it around. So there are my two Chinese New Year cards for my friends celebrating Chinese New Year's overseas. And there was the original Christmas one that I used for giving money, and also gift cards. So I hope you found that useful. And as I said, not my original design, although these embellishments are, but I'd just like to thank Ludivine Bertois, a French demonstrator, who showed us this style of card in our demonstrator Facebook page, and I thought it was a good one for any occasion. So you can use it for birthdays, weddings, engagements, Christmas, and in my case, Chinese New Year. Thanks for watching. Bye.